Hey everyone, it's me, Arden Lee. I am back with another video, and today I want to talk about the idea that attraction and interest are not inherently mutual. Just because one person is interested or attracted to another person doesn't mean that that person naturally feels the same way. And that feels like something that I should not have to give voice to. That sounds like something that should be obvious, but there is an aspect of my experience as a woman, specifically as a conventionally attractive woman living in a patriarchy, where that I really want to discuss because I do have to say this because I have had to say this a number of times in my life. This video is going to be a little harsh, but I just want to put out there that our growth is directly proportional to the amount of uncomfortable truths about ourselves that we are willing to hold space for and integrate and learn from. And on my journey, I have done a lot of holding of uncomfortable truths about myself. And I have chosen to view those uncomfortable moments where reality kind of crashes into me and I realize that I've been being a dumbass about something. I've chosen to take those and to allow myself to be humbled by them and to pick myself up and say, okay, I learned and I'm going to do better now. And in the past 3 years, I've had those moments over and over and over again. And if I've made any progress on my path at all that you have witnessed, it is because I was able to take that information and make a change in my life. And it's not easy, and I kind of feel like in making this video, like I might get some hate, I might get some people calling me a snob, but you know what? This is just the truth. It's the truth that of something that has happened to me enough for it to be a pattern, and I want to give voice to it because if any of it rings true in someone's experience, you know, whether it's about me or about another experience they've had in their life, I want to try and hold space for what is really an uncomfortable truth to deal with that a lot of people don't want to think about. Specifically, specifically men who are attracted to women. In my experience, I'm sure that women do it too. I'm sure that in LGBT relationships it also shows up, but there seems to be, in my experience, you know, because I tend to attract men, it's more common in my experience, and it seems that there is also some social conditioning of a gendered nature that contributes to this particular phenomenon. And that is that in a patriarchy, a woman who walks through the world as I do, looking as I do, choosing in many ways to look as I do, it is a choice. I'm very happy with the way that I present myself. I'm often viewed as existing solely for the gratification and pleasure of the men who find me attractive. And that when they find me attractive, there's this draw and there's this assumption, oh, well, you seem cool. You're interested in the same things I'm interested in. So I assumed that we would hit it off. And in a lot of these cases, there's something really egregious that they're not taking into consideration, which is, what do I need out of a connection? Attraction and interest are not inherently mutual. So there have been times that I have met men in my life, and I've heard other women echo this sentiment too. I remember having a female friend who once said, no, you don't have a connection. She's just awesome and you like her, right? That doesn't mean that you have a connection with her, that there's something mutually established here. And there's this tendency, I believe, in a lot of straight men when, because they have been so socially conditioned toward entitlement toward women, because again, we live in a patriarchy where, because of the way that women are portrayed in media, in Hollywood, and because women have so often been conditioned to be pleasing, to be people pleasers, even as I was, which is part of the reason I look the way I do, because I made it a habit when I was younger, to make being conventionally attractive in this fashion something that was an effortless routine for me. I put in a lot of effort up front to make it effortless. And now this is kind of just the way that I walk through the world, and I don't want to change it because I like the way that I look. But I'm not in that same mindset anymore. And so there's this thing that happens where there'll be a guy who will be like, oh, well, I thought we could be friends, or I thought we'd be interested in one another, or whatever, because we like the same things. And I find you cool, right? I'd even back in the days when I was on a dating app, I was like, I remember specifically getting a message on a dating app once that was like, I think we would be compatible because I find you mind-numbingly attractive. And I was like, so do I get a say in the matter? Do you care about what I find mind-numbingly attractive? That's the point of this. Do you care about what I find attractive? Have you thought about that at all in your experience as a man? Have you stopped to consider what I might be inspired by, what my needs might be, whether in friendship or relationship? Have you stopped to think about what would cause me to feel that attraction to you or interest in you? And in so many cases, the answer is no. And as I've come more into my voice and my not giving a fuck, I've started engaging in these conversations more, rather than just kind of shrinking away or ghosting or whatever, as I might have done in the past when I was more fearful of speaking up. There have been times that I've actually had these brutally honest conversations, and I have said, look, you have to look at the life that I'm creating for myself right now. You have to look at what I'm doing. You have to look at the fact that I'm the creatrix and front woman of my own band, that I completely sustain, that I own 100% of myself. You have to look at the fact that I'm an entrepreneur who created a course that's getting people some really amazing results in their lives, that is solely of my creation and ownership, that I'm investing in myself, that I have put effort into being attractive in the way that you now perceive me, that I'm working on so many different aspects and facets of myself. And yes, okay, you're interested in some of the same things that I'm interested in, sure. But are you teaching me anything about them? Are you engaging with me about them in a way that holds my attention? Or are you just learning from me? Is the exchange in our interactions unidirectional? Where is the value flow here? Am I getting any value from you? And that sounds really harsh, and people will come back and make these arguments about well, everyone has value, everyone has worth. And of course that's true, obviously, but it's up to you to find what you're looking for in yourself. It's up to you to become a vibrational match to the thing that you are seeking. This is the point of this work, right? It is up to you to become a vibrational match to the thing that you are seeking. And if there has been anything about the last 3 years of my life, it is that I have put an enormous amount of effort into becoming the vibrational match to the thing that I am seeking. I have put in an enormous amount of effort into that. And so when I meet someone who is uninspired, is not creating, is not fulfilled by their life, by their circumstances, and they start projecting all of this stuff on me and thinking, well, I was just thinking we'd be friends. I was thinking we connected. I was thinking I had a connection with you. I was thinking, you were a cool person and you like the things I like, so maybe we could hang out. And I'm like, why would I hang out with you? I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but a person's growth is directly proportional to the amount of uncomfortable truth they're able to handle and integrate about themselves. And if you can't answer that question, then maybe think about why you're not asking that question in the first place. Why are you trying to approach me, wanting something from me, wanting my time or my attention or my inspiration or whatever it is that you're getting out of this? And you're not even thinking about what you're offering back. I'm fairly lucky nowadays in that actually there are a number of people that I'm inspired by. It may still be, it may be rare in terms of percentages. The more and more that I do, the more work I do of myself, the more extraordinary or virtuosic or bizarre or intelligent or weird, I might need someone to be a vibrational match to me. And the more we raise our vibration, then yeah, sure, there are going to be people who no longer align, and it might at times feel feel lonely until that shift happens. I'm very lucky lately, actually, that there are a number of people around me where I look at them and I'm like, oh wow, you're doing something really cool. You're doing something interesting that engages my attention, that captivates me in some way. Whether it's something that I'm doing or whether you're doing your own thing that impresses me doesn't really matter. And it doesn't matter what it is either, so much as it matters the degree to which it inspires you. Because I need you to be inspired by your own life, or else I'm going to be holding the weight entirely myself. And why would you think that that would be fun for me? And this happens more often than I would than a lot of people would like to admit. And if you're an attractive woman, you probably know this, which is why I feel confident talking about this subject, because as I've said, I've had women who are in that same position who've seen this happen, and this harsh truth, if it were actually to be digested and integrated, could actually set the foundation for a whole new reality in which these men would be able to actually accomplish forming a connection with a woman who inspires them on that level. But it's this idea that it is inherently selfish and therefore inherently kind of offensive to me that they're not thinking about what I would want. How dare you? After all of the effort that I have spent throughout my life in considering what other people might want from me and how I might be inspiring in the way that I show up for them. Even when I was thinking of that in a way that was toxic to myself, after all of that energy that I've spent considering what attracts other people. How dare you not do the same for me? How dare you not see how much I have done to consider those things? How dare you not see the amount of work that came out of the inquiry and exploration that I undertook of what is attractive and inspiring to people? How dare you overlook the amount of work that I have done in that capacity? And approach me completely taking all of that for granted and assuming that I don't need that in return. Connection in our relationships needs to come from a place of empathy and a place of intimacy, a place of I see you and I understand you, or at the very least, I am making a sincere attempt to understand you and perceive you as accurately as possible because I want to show up with a connection that feels real. And when someone is unable to see the level of work and commitment that I have put into creating a reality that inspires me and hopefully inspires others, enough to show gratitude for that. Gratitude in the form of reciprocity, or at least an understanding of what I need and where they might lack that, then I don't know, man, you guys, it's just It makes me sad because I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for these guys. I'm rooting for men in general to get it better and to be more attractive and to be more inspiring. And I'm very lucky that I've gotten to a place in my life where I'm noticing more and more of that, and I'm very grateful for that. So this isn't a slam on men, because I have some really cool men in my sphere right now. And that's really, really awesome and really cool to feel. But there's always going to be these incidents. This is always going to be this is always going to be a reality in the world, so long as this conditioning exists, and so long as these blind spots exist, and so long as people go around not looking at their blind spots and not considering the needs of others, considering only what they want from another person and not what they are giving in exchange. And it's really important in approaching our relationships that we think about what we're bringing to the table. And this is like relationship 101, you guys. This is like, even in pickup, we teach this. Like, this is stuff that I should not have to be saying anymore in 2019. This is super basic. But it still happens, and there you go. So if you're feeling defensive toward this video, if you're feeling reactive and you're feeling like, fuck her, she's a snob, who does she think she is, you know, she's not that hot anyway, right? I invite you to look at what's coming up for you there. Is that defensiveness a wall that's being erected because behind that there is an understanding that that you're not putting in the same amount of work, and you don't want to face that? There's nothing that I can do for you. There's no void in you that I can fill. There's nothing about you that I could fix if you haven't already fixed it yourself. There's nothing especially magical about me that's going to transform you. If anything, it's just going to trigger you and highlight those areas that you haven't worked on. And it's got to be your choice to work on it. I can't do it for you. I'd love for us all to bring more intuitive empathy into our interactions and to start considering other people's needs to a greater degree. Since I'm someone who has a pretty strong history of doing that, even to a point of toxicity in my past, I don't have a great deal of sympathy for holding space for that particular blind spot. If you have that blind spot, I will point it out to you. And I hope that you take it to heart. You allow yourself to be humbled in that way of grace and transformation and change. I hope you let it light a fire under your ass. I hope you get your shit together. Because I'm not going to lie about it. And I'm not going to play small to coddle anyone's feelings anymore. If you're looking for something in me that you haven't found in yourself, you need to find it in yourself first. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.